We welcome those of you who have watched John Elway's 3 touchdown passes give Denver the 24-14 halftime lead over Cincinnati at Mile High Stadium. Bob Costas with Paul McGuire and Ahmad Rashad. The Bengals need to rally in order to maintain a tie with Cleveland atop the AFC Central. Cleveland has already won today. We'll tell you about that in a moment. Game going on elsewhere. Philadelphia and the Raiders at the Coliseum, not yet to halftime. Philadelphia with a 13-10 lead. Fulton Walker, a punt return, 70 yards for a Raider touchdown. Greg Garrity, a 76-yard punt return for a Philadelphia score. Atlanta and Miami have gone to the third at the Orange Bowl. The Falcons lead at 10-0. Gerald Riggs has a touchdown and already 80 yards rushing in the game. He's gone over 1,000 for the season. Earlier today, the Bears went to 11-2. It wasn't easy. They beat Pittsburgh in overtime. The Bears have clinched in the NFC Central, and Pittsburgh loses in OT for the second consecutive week. Here's Mike Tomczak in at quarterback now with Jim McMahon out for the season. Walter Payton, who had a fumble at the 2 to thwart a Bear drive early, goes in the fourth quarter for the tying touchdown, evens it up at 10. Now in overtime, here is Kevin Butler drilling home a 42-yarder. That gives the Bears the win at 13-10. Butler had hit the upright with a 29-yard attempt toward the end of regulation that could have won it right there, so he redeems himself in overtime, and the Bears win at 13-10. Ahmad?
Once again, the Bears having problems with their offense, putting a lot of pressure on their defense. But I mentioned in the feature that when the going gets tough, they go to Payton. He carried the ball 31 times for 90 yards, caught 5 passes, and they still are having problems with that offense. As a matter of fact, in the overtime, they elected to kick off and feature their defense.
The Rams featured their defense, or is it the Jets' lack of offense suddenly? Second straight game where the Jet offense has managed but 3 points. The Rams win it by a score of 17-3. There's Bud Carson, the defensive coordinator for the Jets. He looks on as the Jets get perhaps their best scoring opportunity in the first quarter. Ken O'Brien will throw a 32-yard pass to Wesley Walker, but at the 1-yard line he's hit. The ball pops free. Jerry Gray recovers in the end zone for the Rams, and the Jets come up empty. Then in the second quarter, after throwing 2 interceptions early, Jim Everett out of the shotgun finds the former Tampa Bay All-Pro Kevin House, who has found a new home in Anaheim. He gallops 60 yards for the touchdown, a 7-0 Ram lead. It's been this kind of day for the Jets. They have only 10 men on the field defensively as the Rams line up at the 5-yard line. There's Jim Stuckey along the sideline trying to decide whether he should come into the game or not. Meanwhile, with only 10 defenders, Eric Dickerson with a change of direction. He goes in from 4 yards out. Dickerson had 107 yards on the day. The Rams beat the Jets 17-3. Paul?
Well, if Stuckey would have come in, if you take a look at the film, he'd have been offside. So it wouldn't have made any difference. The Jets, they found a 3-point play that they have in basketball now. They've had 3 points the last 2 games. They just cannot score a touchdown. Everybody talked about how bad, the defense is banged up, and they can't play without a good defense. All of a sudden, now the offense has gone to pot. O'Brien is not getting the people downfield he used to get down.
You know, this is very unbecoming. You're wrong about them 7-8 weeks in a row. You're right now twice, and you're gloating.
No, I'm not gloating. I think it's a great football team. I really do.
When you're right,
yeah.
you're right.
All right.
Wrong.
Let's move along. New England suddenly is in a first-place tie with the Jets. They're each 10-3 in the AFC East. New England wins their 7th in a row, 21-20 at the Superdome against the Saints. Washington, on a Max Zendejas field goal of 27 yards with 4 seconds to play, beats the Cardinals 20-17. Lomax and Schrader each threw 2 touchdown passes. Buffalo ends their 22-game road losing streak. If they had lost today at KC, they would have equaled Houston's league record for road futility. The last time they won on the road before today, December of '83 at Arrowhead, and they do it again, 17-14. 2 Jim Kelly touchdown passes to Andre Reed. Cleveland wins in overtime for the 2nd straight week. Their new place kicker, Mark Mosley, with a 30-yarder toward the end of OT. They beat Houston 13-10, so for the moment, Cleveland is a half game ahead of the Bengals in the AFC Central. The Browns had 6 interceptions against Houston today. San Diego beat Indianapolis 17-3, the Chargers' 3rd win of the year. The Colts are 0-13. And Minnesota over Tampa Bay 45-13. Wade Wilson in place of the injured Tommy Kramer threw 3 touchdown passes for the Vikings, who are now 7-6. We'll be back to relive some memories from Super Bowl I after this from your local stations. This January, it'll be 20 years since they played Super Bowl I in Los Angeles. The Kansas City Chiefs, coached by Hank Stram, against Vince Lombardi's Green Bay Packers. Boyd Dowler was out that day. In came the veteran Max McGee. Look at this catch, reaching back to beat Willie Mitchell. And the Hammer, Fred Williamson, appears on the scene a bit too late to stop him. Even though the Chiefs lost 35-10, the Hammer still looked good that day and thereafter. Fred Williamson and Max McGee join us now in the studio. Max, you were nearing the end of your career and, in fact, had caught just 4 passes during the year when you latched on to 7 in the Super Bowl game.
Well, I was actually beyond the end of my career as far as football, but I'll tell you, I'm glad I got in that day because otherwise I wouldn't be here today.
Despite the great career you had, it was that one Super Bowl game, really, that distinguishes you in the public's memory, right?
Nobody ever asked anything else about the other 300 I dropped, you know, just that one I got in the Super Bowl.
Well, let me ask you this. I saw you quoted some places saying you'd established a different kind of NFL record even before the Super Bowl. 11 consecutive curfews missed without being caught.
Well, Horning started that rumor because he was with me, see, so... Well, I was not exactly a real curfew guy, but... You know, we were in pretty good shape. You work for Vince Lombardi, you're ready to play every Sunday.
How would Lombardi react to somebody like you or a Horning? He himself a disciple of discipline and you guys free spirits.
You know, I think there's a misconception of Vince Lombardi. I think he would have liked to have as much fun as we did. He just didn't show that side. He had a great side to him that was, he liked to play golf for $5 Nassau, and he liked to go to Las Vegas and gamble, and I think people didn't know that, but he was actually a fun-loving guy.
We've got some footage here of Lombardi greeting the troops toward the end of his Packer career at the beginning of a training camp. Let's take a look. Vince Lombardi in the late 60s.
My name is Vince Lombardi. I want to welcome you to the Green Bay Packers. Last year, the Green Bay Packers won an unprecedented 3rd successive world title. The Green Bay Packers have won 5 world championships in the last 8 years.
Was that a typical Lombardi address, or was that watered down for the cameras?
I think that was watered down because, I tell you, he was the most inspirational coach, of course, I probably up to that time, and maybe still, but when he gave a speech, I've actually seen in big games when, you know, when he said, all right, let's get out and get them, I've seen guys run through their locker, push the door down the wrong way. You know, he had that kind of effect on people, and I think that's the reason he won 5 world championships.
Is it true that the key about Lombardi was not so much his skill as a tactician, although obviously he excelled there, but his ability to make people play beyond the potential they thought they had?
I think so, and I think we called it coaching by intimidation. He did intimidate some of the people and made them play better than they really were, and I think if you look at guys like Fuzzy Thurston, Jerry Kramer, they went out and played better than maybe they were capable of, but that's the kind of coach he was.
Let's turn to the hammer here. You guys represent the AFL against a team that's already legendary, the Packers. It's the first Super Bowl. Well, nobody gives you a chance.
It was really the only Super Bowl. I think that was the Super Bowl. What we play now, what we see now is an image of the Super Bowl. There was the best of the American Football League against the best of the National Football League. You don't... Today it's the AFC and NFC. I think that was the only Super Bowl.
And what was the feeling? You guys representing the upstart league, what was the feeling coming in?
Well, you know, when you're asking me, you're talking to an individual because I didn't think like the other guys. I thought like Fred Williamson. I had seek and destroy on my mind. You know, to me, I was the villain of the Super Bowl. Don't talk to the press. So I was the Pied Piper. They followed me around because I was the only guy talking to the press. I mean, Green Bay Packers meant nothing to me. Boyd Dowell meant nothing to me. Max McGee, who was Max McGee? I mean, I could cover Max McGee in my mind. I mean, whether or not I could or could not was totally unimportant. This is how I felt about the game. Meanwhile, the coach is saying, be quiet. You're going to make them angry, and you're going to fire them up for this game. And I said, hey, we didn't sneak into town. They know we're here. We came in a big jet. It made a lot of noise. They know we're here. So I was the villain, man. I was the Pied Piper. So everything I did was wrong and right at the same time.
Did he make you guys angry?
Well, I'll tell you, we had a lot of fun with it because he did, you know, Vince jumped on that immediately because Freddie came out as the hammer, and I'm going to bust up all these helmets, and, you know, those helmets are pretty hard to break, but I think it added something to that game, really, and Vince took a big hold on that.
Who was it who hit you and put you out of the game?
No, that's wrong. It's another person. That didn't happen to me.
Well, let's watch.
Yeah, let's watch. It was,
Go ahead and talk.
It was Donnie Anderson making a sweep. See me come up, or you'll see me come up, get past the guard,
right,
make a tackle. My knee, his knee hit me on the top of the head. That was Anderson. Now I'm embarrassed. I'm down. I saw this later. They went crazy. The Green Bay Packers jumping up and down. Said, they got the hammer, they got the hammer. So I was embarrassed. I was down, and I was embarrassed, and I didn't want to get up, and they said, get up, and I said, I'm not. If you want me, I'm not going to stagger off this field. I'm not going to wobble off this field. If you want me off the field, carry me. And they carried me, and they dumped me on the sidelines, and I jumped up and waved at my fans and let them know I was all right.
It was only 14-10 Packers at the half, as I recall, although they went on to win 35-10. And a few years later, the Jets and then the Chiefs in Super Bowl IV beat the NFL representatives.
Right.
How close were you guys at the very beginning? Was it closer than those scores indicated?
Yeah, we were in the game all the way. I think that you're not going to change our game plan because we have this big game. We're going to do everything that brought us here. We're not going to change our play. We had more plays. We had more new plays than we had old plays. I mean, not to say anything against Stram's coaching, but you know, they were playing Otis Taylor 12 yards deep. And I said, well, you know, you take 10 passes, 10 yards deep, you got 100 yards, you score a touchdown. They kept trying to go long on Herb. When Herb was playing 12 yards deep. And I said, why? Why are you throwing these short passes, these long passes? And he said, sit down.
So McGee could become a hero. 15 seconds here, two quick questions. Did you feel you were much superior to the Chiefs and then the Raiders in those two Super Bowl games?
No, I don't think we thought those two teams were very good. We thought the rest of the league was not up to par, but the two best teams that we played were very good teams. They had a lot of all-pro players there, but with Vince Lombardi, we had the best of it.
And your latest project on the silver screen. I know television is too small to contain your compelling personality. It's the big screen
Thank
that's
you for
required.
saying that, because if I said that, they would take offense to that. My next film is The Messenger is coming out. I'm eliminating dope pushers on the street, vigilante style, and then I'm off now to Rome to do one called Black Cobra.
And a King Cobra jacket adorning the body of the Hammer. Understated and modest as always. NFL 86 halftime activities will continue.